Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy B-Lee back again here with another video. So, I'm starting my journey to Godzilla King of the Monsters that's releasing May 2019. So what I'm doing is I'm going to review every period of the Godzilla franchise, including the anime releases, Legendary's Godzilla, 1998 Godzilla. I'm going to review every single Godzilla film, but of course with the periods I'm going to just review the entire period as a whole. Starting with this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Showa period, which includes films. These films that I have, because I have every single Godzilla film except the original Godzilla. Please forgive me for any Godzilla fan that has that film on deck. I know I need to add that to my collection. That's the only film I do not have. The original Godzilla. But we have Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla Raised Again, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, probably everybody's favorite, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Son of Godzilla, another personal favorite, Destroy All Monsters. Actually, the series was supposed to stop at Destroy All Monsters, if you guys didn't know. But they still returned with Godzilla's Revenge. Another one of my favorites, Godzilla vs. Hedra, or Hedorah. Godzilla vs. Gigan. Godzilla vs. Megalon. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. And Terror of Mechagodzilla. Yes, I literally have every Godzilla movie. I watch them all over and over and over. I never get tired of them. But yes, starting with the original Godzilla. As we know, that film in particular depicted Godzilla as a metaphor for the horrors that humanity has created with the atom bomb in 1945. And in my opinion, when I watched it, it was more effective to me than the American adaptation. I still respect the American adaptation starring Raymond Burr, but at the same time, that film had like a lot of stuff cut out. And you know, with Raymond Burr, what they call it, falsely interacting, because they just edited him in there like he was talking to the Japanese characters. And that film, they marketed that movie as simply a monster film, as a monster terrorizing Japan. In that movie, they probably touched on the nuclear aspect of Godzilla maybe once or twice. They wasn't like dealing with it that whole movie. And going into Godzilla Raised Again, that film was like the start of the action Godzilla, like Godzilla facing off with other kaiju such as Anguirus, which was introduced in Godzilla Raised Again. And of course, if you've seen the original Godzilla movie, you know that they killed Godzilla, so this is a second Godzilla, of course. And then going from Godzilla Raised Again, we get King Kong vs. Godzilla, which is probably one of the most iconic of the franchise, because that was the first time King Kong and Godzilla faces off. That movie was epic at that time. It may not hold up today, but at that time, you know, it held up. Even when I was a kid watching it, I think King Kong vs. Godzilla was like my favorite. Um, but that has changed. Still one of my favorites, but it's not like my top favorite. And you have to understand, during these movies, at first, in the Showa period, Godzilla was the antagonist at first. After King Kong versus Godzilla, there was Mothra versus Godzilla. He was still the antagonist. Godzilla wasn't the protagonist until Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, which was by far the one of the most iconic entries of the period, because one, it introduces Ghidorah. And one, it was the first movie where Godzilla was the protagonist, and it featured Rodan. I honestly believe that this is what Godzilla King of the Monsters is going to be based on. I think that this is where they get their source material from this film alone, plus other films where Godzilla, Rodan, and King Ghidorah and Mothra are all interacting. I think the Showa period was the period where Godzilla, King of the Monsters got most of their source material. But heading on from there, Godzilla, once he became the protagonist, he became more friendly than as he was depicted in the original film. He started to gear to more children audiences, especially in Son of Godzilla, where Godzilla's son was introduced, Manila, and the follow-up, not the follow-up, after Destroy All Monsters, they came out with Godzilla's Revenge, where that was basically geared to children as a whole, and Godzilla just turned friendly, this child-loving dinosaur. You know, he wasn't what he was, he wasn't what he was originally intended to be. And yeah, and I still like this series, even though it gradually made Godzilla more favorable. And the next entry that I love is Godzilla vs. Hedra, or Hedorah, however you want to pronounce it. I mainly pronounce it Hedra. That was one of my favorite ones, mainly because of this scene right here. That was one of my favorite scenes. And I don't know, I laugh every time I see it. But now, productions did start to get a little lazy with the Godzilla films, such as Godzilla vs. Gigan. I noticed, like when I was watching Godzilla vs. Gigan, I noticed that they were using like a lot of scenes from Destroy All Monsters, and I was like, man, I've seen this exact scene before. And then when I rewatched the other ones, I'm like, yo, they really just took shots and just edited it in here, and I just thought the series was getting lazy from there. But then after Godzilla vs. Gigan, they came out with Godzilla vs. Megalon, and even that had lazy production, and I was just like, man, what's going on here? But they blessed my soul with this Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. That's easily in my top 5 of the Showa period, and I love that movie. I love that movie. It took Godzilla back to his roots for a bit, and that's what I liked about it, until it was revealed that that was you know, a robot Godzilla, not the real Godzilla, but still, it gave us that feeling that, okay, Godzilla is still real. Like, he still can do damage. He can do damage. And then the follow-up sequel, Terror of Mechagodzilla. I love that one as well. And that was the end of the Showa period. Overall, the Showa period was great. I love it. I believe that there's a lot to appreciate with the Showa period, and I forgot to give you my favorites. My favorites, no particular order. I'm gonna just pick them out in the order I see them. Of course, the original. You have to respect the original, I feel. King Kong versus Godzilla definitely is my favorite. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, of course. Destroy All Monsters, yeah, that's one of my favorites. And, man, if I have to pick a fifth for my top 5, definitely Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Honorable mentions will have to go to Godzilla vs. Hedra. Most definitely. Most definitely have to go to that one. But yeah. That's my review for the Showa period of Godzilla. I didn't want to do this long, extravagant review because I didn't know if anybody was going to watch it. So I tried to keep it short and sweet and give you guys what I know about the series. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will continue on with the Heisei period next. I'm gonna try to drop these at least twice a month if my math is correct. If I drop a series, if I drop a video at least twice a month about the Godzilla series, I should be on track for the release of Godzilla King of the Monsters. So I hope you guys like this review. Please drop a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Whatever you guys feel. Be on the lookout for the Heisei period review. And as always, it's your boy B. Lee signing off.